Hey, friends. So, I have a topic to talk to you guys about today that has been on my heart for a while to go over because I think a lot of people need to hear this information to really experience their maximum best wellness and health and well self. So, let's talk about toxins. The toxins lurking in your cupboards, the toxins you come in contact with in your home and in your environment, some of which you can control. And I realize some of which it's harder to control outside of your home, at least. But hey, you are the gatekeeper of your home and you do have a say in what comes and goes. Okay. And I promise you that toxins are, especially specific toxic like chemicals, are definitely impacting your life, whether you feel it or not, or know it or not yet, because we all have a certain chemical burden, biological burden that our bodies can handle to a degree. But I'll also tell you that a lot of the maybe even vague things you may be experiencing in your day-to-day life could actually be related to that toxic burden, you guys. Ah! So I want to talk to you about three of the very key toxins that are lurking and hiding in our products. I'm going to talk to you today about three that our family eliminated as soon as possible, as soon as I found out this information. So I'm going to share that with you and give you some further follow-up information at the end. So I'll make it brief, but listen to the end because there's more where this came from, I promise. If you're interested in this topic, I'd love to chat even more with you about it. So the first thing that we got out of our home, and I'm talking household products, personal care products, some of these things may or may not show up in food specifically, but I would look at your food, anything in your environment, okay? What you're cleaning with, what you're putting on around or near your body, what you're plugging into your outlets or lighting in terms of candles, what you're using in your laundry, your soaps, your cleaners, your shampoos, your face stuff, your makeup. I know, guys, it sounds like a lot, but I promise you, baby steps makes a difference. So remember that. You eat an elephant one bite at a time. You can do this one step at a time. We've taken years as a family to slowly remove things, but where we started are with these things. Phthalates. Phthalates. It's spelled PHTH. Phthalates. All right, guys. They are a horrible group of chemicals. They're vast and numerous in size. All right, but they come in many personal care products and plastics. So they also can leach into products that are like, so if the product itself doesn't contain a phthalate, but they're in a plastic that does, that product can leach from the plastic phthalates. And then we put them on and around ourselves. And we can potentially even ingest them in food we eat that's stored in plastics that have this toxin. Yummy, right? So what's the big deal? Well, you can Google all you want about phthalates, but to be brief, they disrupt our endocrine systems. So that means hormone balance, anything to do with any communication between our thyroids, our adrenal glands, our hypothalamus, male and female sex hormones, all over our bodies. There's all different organs that regulate hormone production and communicate through our bloodstream with hormones. So the amount of problems that an endocrine disruptor can cause are insanely vast. I mean, there are so many issues that could be a result of endocrine disruption, right? So they also can impact your reproductive health, create fertility issues, not great things like that, create tons of hormonal imbalances just with just your sex hormones alone, progesterone, estrogen, DHEA, pregnenolone, testosterone, all that kind of stuff. Ew. No bueno. They can actually even potentially cause cancer and metabolic disorders. So life-threatening things that aren't just annoyances, but literally could threaten your life. Ew. Not worth it, guys. Not worth it at all. So bear in mind, like I said, you can consume these chemicals, toxic chemicals specifically, because, okay, water is a chemical. It's made up of whatever. Okay, chemists out there. But you could consume these toxic chemicals just by eating or drinking something that was stored in plastic that contained phthalates, or you could be putting them on your skin without even realizing it or without even seeing it on the label in the plastic product you're using. So just know that they're lurking. and we can do the best we can to avoid them. And so we try our hardest in our household to do that. Okay, the next thing, and I do have some brief notes here, so I'm just gonna stay on track. The next thing that we avoided in our household were actually parabens. So they are also linked to hormone disruption. Guys, I've got 3 girls, and I've already had my ups and downs with my own hormone levels with getting toxins out of my house. Like, I don't need toxins to mess my health up even more, right? So parabens are also a known hormone disruptor, and they can actually cause reproductive toxicity. Ooh. And they've been linked to breast cancer as well. And maybe even other kinds of cancer, keep your eye on the studies, right? So they are actually found in pretty much all cosmetics that are not clean and without them, labeled without them, that aren't of at least like the EU, the European Union standards. They have banned them over there, but they're used because they inhibit the growth of bacteria and microbes, which sounds like a good thing, and essentially it would be, except that it's toxic to your health. So, there might be other ways to go about doing that are less toxic, right? You can look for the label of paraben free on your products. So that's a helpful way to know if it contains parabens or not, and try to choose and vote with your dollars by choosing products that are free of parabens. Okay. All right. So the final thing that we absolutely 110% had to eliminate in our household, because it is just no good in any way, shape, or form, has been fragrances. And that is a catch-all term nowadays on labeling for any number of hundreds, if not thousands, of different toxic chemicals, some of which are illegal, at least in the US, but never mind Europe as well, some of which are labeled or considered proprietary ingredients and do not have to be disclosed to the consumer. So you could possibly never find out what that fragrance really is or is comprised of. It goes for any product with any kind of fragrance listed, even natural fragrance, can be completely adulterated, toxic sludge. I'm not going to lie. The perfumes, all those fragrance derived words in general could be the catch-all terms for fragrances. So, okay, well, so whatever. Like, why is that fragrance such a big deal other than it's a lie? It's a term that's a lie, and it's a cover-up, and it's not required to be disclosed to you as the consumer. That alone is like a big red flag to me. But also, these trade secrets could actually be more phthalates, endocrine disruptors, toluene, any kind, oxybenzoids, like any kind of toxic chemical, again, not being required to be labeled as such. So the cumulative effect of that is possible endocrine disruption, more hormone disruptors. They can mimic our hormones. Some of these toxins, and you don't know necessarily which ones you're getting, can mimic hormones and be received by our receptor sites in our bodies, and then they don't allow our real hormones to be received by those receptor sites because they're mimicking them. They're infiltrating the system and kind of jacking it up. They're hijacking what your body would naturally be doing on its own. And then your body gets the wrong message from that, right? So that's just the hormone system, but there are also carcinogenic properties within these fragrance chemicals. They can cause fertility issues and hormonal imbalances, like I already said, but they can also cause allergies and respiratory problems, birth defects. They do pass, most of these toxins can pass to the unborn child. There have been studies done of unborn babies being tested and their mamas being tested for certain toxic chemicals, and the babies sometimes come up higher than the moms. There's like a different cumulative effect on their little bodies. So in utero is a danger zone too. They can also lead to organ problems and organ failure as a whole. Awful. Skin reactions, again, goes along with possible allergies or just even such severe chemical skin reactions that can cause burns and like huge skin problems. Actually, it's not just a little itchy spot or something like that. Huge skin problems can fall in that realm as well. And then mental health disturbances and such in that category can even come from some of these toxic chemicals, again, that can fall under the label umbrella of a fragrance, which is a trade secret. and you don't get to know what that is. Ugh, I don't love it. So we got rid of fragrance in our house, and we don't even necessarily, frankly, trust green, organic, natural labels unless we can verify exactly what's in them. And there's a lot of manipulation going on with the labeling, and using those terms and those kinds of marketing strategies to get people to buy stuff that really is full of toxins in some very common, touted as healthy products out there today. I'm going to tell you that right now. So just be aware and be a savvy consumer. If you liked what you heard here and found it interesting and want to hear more, I have resources for you. I highly recommend a starting point being checking out the documentary Stink on Netflix, to hear even more about this topic. I'm not the only one talking about it. Do your research and dive into to hear more about what other people are saying and finding out on their own when they dig deeper and look for themselves. Also, if you want to hear my top 12 toxins to avoid, this was 3 of them, but there are 12 at least that I have compiled. I have a mini course on that in my group that I'm going to link in the description here. And I also have a free PDF that you can snag. You can get it right through that mini workshop that I did, where you can have the list handy when you go shopping, when you want to dig deeper and learn more. Finally, another resource for you. What do you do about all this? What do you do when you find something toxic in your cupboards and you want to switch it out? Well, that's the best part. Go do it and then be empowered to make the proper changes. I am always happy to talk to you about what we have replaced our toxic products with. Additionally, here are 2 other resources for you. I will link them in the description. Also, the Think Dirty app. Proceed with caution on that one. It is owned by Procter & Gamble now, so there are some fallacies in that app, but it is free and it is a starting point for doing your own further research. So I would not take what it says with a grain of salt, or I would take what it says with a grain of salt and not take it as truth until you've researched further, because there are some products on that app that are getting a rating better than they should be getting, and they're containing fragrance and other such toxins. So go on there as a savvy consumer if you choose to use the Think Dirty app, but it's out there. It's one of the resources available. A better resource, maybe less user friendly on the go, especially, is going to be the ewg.org website. Okay, that is the Environmental Working Group .org website, ewg.org. I will link it. They have a database. They have lots of articles and lots of information about all kinds of chemicals and healthy alternatives when you're switching products out in your home and in your environment. So definitely be empowered going forward. Those are 2 of my favorite resources. If you know more, link them in the comments so we can all be empowered beyond just being stuck with chemicals. Guys, it doesn't have to be like that. Get them out. Finally, make sure that you are subscribing here, hitting the bell so you get alerted whenever I'm on, providing you some new content and new videos. All right, guys, until next time, be well, be healthy, and get those toxins out, my friends. Bye.